nous avons commencé l'enregistrement. Voilà. All right. Voilà. So the agenda of this meeting will have 6 parts. So the first one, I will talk about the application to university. So Chevening scholarship application has 2 main parts. One is the application to the Chevening Scholarship on the platform. And the second part, which is as important, is the application to university. So to obtain the Chevening Scholarship, you need first to have an unconditional offer from a university in the UK. And secondly, you need to be selected by Chevening to obtain the scholarship. So if you get the Chevening Scholarship, but you don't have the unconditional offer, you won't be able to obtain the final scholarship, which will allow you to pursue your studies in the UK. So that's why we'll start by that, which is very, very important. And then we'll speak about the 4 essays that compose the application to Chevening. The leadership essay, the relationship building essay, also called the networking essay, the studying in the UK essay, and the career plan essay. The first 2 essay will be presented by Parfait Lutundula, who is with us. And the other 2 will be presented by Grace Rogenge. And finally, we'll have the Q&A session after all the presentation, which will allow you to ask any question. So in the meantime, while we are presenting, if you have a question, you can put it in chat. I'm going to say this in French to make sure that everybody understands. Si vous avez une question pendant la session, mettez votre question, vous pouvez le mettre dans les chats et nous allons y répondre pendant la période du Q&A. Et si vous voulez écrire en français votre question, vous pouvez l'écrire en français, nous allons y répondre en anglais, mais écrivez quand même votre question en français si vous le voulez ou en anglais. Et si vous avez nécessairement besoin de parler, poser votre question en parlant, faites la demande et on va vous donner, on va ouvrir votre micro. So I'm going to start by speaking about the application to university. So the application to university is a very challenging part of the Chevening application. So you need to select 3 universities when you're applying to Chevening. And out of those 3 universities, the first thing I advise all applicants to be strategic. So first of all, you need to know your level and know what you can get. We all hear about the top university, the Cambridge University, the Oxford universities in the UK, but those are like the top 2 universities and they are really, really hard to get into. Not that you can't get into them, but you need to be realistic about your chance to get into these universities. So if, for instance, you're going to apply, you want to study a particular course for your master's degree, and then you select your first choice is Oxford, and your second choice is Cambridge, and your third, maybe you select Manchester University. Those first 2 universities are really, really tough to get into, and you are unlikely to get into them if we are realistic. And the third one that you selected, Manchester University, is also a very good university, a little bit easier to get into than the top 2, but still hard to get into. So nothing is guaranteed. So you may end up obtaining the Chevening Scholarship and missing out on the more important, not the more important, but which is the university offer, which is as important as the scholarship, because you can't go forward without the 2. That's why we advise people to be very strategic about their university selections, not only university, but also course selections. But during our essay on studying in the UK, Grace will talk more about selecting your course for, and also universities. But here my main focus is application to universities. So my second piece of advice is for people to apply as soon as possible. So people, sometimes, as you know, that you can apply up to the deadline to get a conditional offer is usually sometime at the mid-July. Most of the time, the dates may change, but it's sometime in July. That's when is the deadline to obtain a conditional offer from a UK university. You can't say start applying in May. Universities start their application sometime around September or October for the next year. So for you who are applying for next year, your university will open, or the university will open the applications from September and others October. So as soon as the applications open, that's when I advise you to apply. And the reason why is the sooner you apply, the earlier you get your response. If you've been rejected, at least you'll know it soon enough and you have the ability to apply to another university. If you have a conditional offer, because the first step is usually you get a conditional offer, and those conditions for people who are from French-speaking countries are usually the English language. And there might be also some other condition relating to your transcription for your studies, if you haven't finished your studies and all that. But more often, the most important one is the English language. You need to prove that you know or you can speak and you can study in English to those universities. So previously, the Chevening Scholarship used to request also proof of English language, but since the COVID pandemic, they are not requiring it anymore. But people still need to prove to all the university you are applying to that you can speak English. Unless you just finish your studies in an English-speaking countries, in a recognized by the UK government English-speaking countries, and you can prove it, that's when you may be, they may waive that condition of English language. But even for some of them, even people who coming from English-speaking countries like Nigeria, sometimes India, they are still asked to prove their level of English. So this is very important, and this is one of the reasons why we are conducting this session in English, because we want to make sure that everybody understands the importance of familiarizing themselves with the English language. Of course, know that we are from Congo, and we all, some may come from other countries, but we are all not, English is not our first language. And it can be hard for some of us or many of us to speak it fluently. However, that's a challenge that you can, you are able to succeed at, because if you are able to write and read in English properly, the speaking part can come in later if you are able to read and write. So one advice I would give all of you is to start familiarizing with English language. We all studied at school, but start reading more English news, listening to English music. We all do, but do it more often. And also, if it's movie, just try to get into in an English environment as much as you can, although we are living in French-speaking countries, so that will make a big difference, and it will have a big impact on how you learn English. And when the time comes for you to do an English test, you will be able to perform much better because you've gotten used to it. So that's why English is a big condition to all university application. It's not just English, but you need to succeed. The higher the university is ranked, like the top university I've talked about, they're gonna ask you English language to be almost to be proficient. Really, they need to be able that you can speak as fluently, write as fluently in English as in your first language, for instance. So that was my second advice. There might be other conditions to your offer, and sometimes it's just they want you to pay, but when it's financial condition, that one will be taken by Chevening. Chevening will deal with that. Once you get your scholarship, you'll be able to prove that the financial condition can be fulfilled without any problem. So those are the two main conditions. So make sure you apply early. First, make sure you choose the right university for you. and make sure you apply as early as possible so that you are able to receive the result as soon as possible. And you can, if you're rejected, you are able to find an alternative university. And if you get a conditional offer, you are able to start preparing, whether it's the English test or any other condition that may be within your offers. So those are the few things I'm going to talk about. So now I'm gonna Parfait is going to talk about the leadership essay and the relationship building essay.